All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We get to John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Allah in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Due to the Abba, there's one that accused you of Moses, of whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? So, Proverbs 28 and 1, if you would. Proverbs 28 and 1, if you would. It says the wicked flee when no man pursue, but the righteous are bold. So, of course, we discussed that bold is batak. The word batak. I want you to come around here to Ecclesiastes 8 and 1, if you would. Ecclesiastes 8 and 1. Who is as the wise man, and who know the interpretation of a thing? A man's wit face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. Now we're going to look at boldness. Now this is not the top here. Boldness here is oaths. This is your might or your strength. So you have Ayin and Zayin, and you can proceed because that's what you have there. You have Ayin and you have Zayin, which is a word that we dealt with before, but this is might or strength. So when it deals with boldness, it's dealing with the strength that is manifested in a man's face. But that's because that he is as the wise man, and he has the interpretation of things. Ayin, and I'll ask you what you'll choose from those before we look at Ayin. Now you have to realize this is dealing with strength. That's what that word means. So you have plowing tools, so we'll set that to the side. You have harvest, you have food, you have the dig to be fruitful, to cut off, and a weapon to nourish. Now remember, y'all recall what nourish means, right? You know what it is to nourish something, right? To bring to maturity, or to build up, or to train up. Now keep in the context of the verse that it says, who is as the wise man? So I want you to look at who is shalom. To know the word, right. I want you to look at interpretation. That word for sure, it means interpretation or solution. So it says, who knows the solution of a thing? Now, as we're thinking on that Aleph, Ayin and that Zayin, but it's for sure you have Peshan and Raj. So now you look at this here, who's going to know the solution? Those who are paired to the words of the highest. That's who's going to know the solution. See, when you look at this is how you can be shalom, and this is how you can be bold as a lion or have that trust and confidence because you know the solution. The solution is you have to be paired to the word. If you're not paired to the word, you're not going to be able to solve the problem. See, there's not a problem that the word of Yahuwah does not solve. Your problems are not being solved because you're not humbling yourself to the word because you're a proud, arrogant bastard. And he already told you in Proverbs 8 and 13 that the fear of Yahuwah is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy. Y'all remember, I forgot which, I know I was talking to one of y'all women about this the other week or so. I can't recall who it was. But then, remember what we were talking about in Isaiah chapter 3 in regard, because I know Brandon asked me about this the other day. He was like, so y'all women don't wear jewelry? I said, no, they don't. He said, well, why not? I say, well, in 1 Timothy chapter 2, it tells you that it's not representative of a woman who's set apart. And then Peter made the instance of to not be concerned with your outward appearance because a quiet and meek spirit is a greater price to you. He don't care nothing about all that. See, you care about all that. See, who was looking at what type of spirit? Notice that he said a quiet and a meek spirit, because it's a great value to Yahuwah Shalom, man, for a woman to be humble. But not just even a woman, but people, period, because Yahuwah hates pride. Do y'all know in the book of Proverbs, in about the 6th chapter, somewhere in verses 16 to 18, that he said anybody that got a proud look is an abomination to him, that he finds them utterly detestable? Anyone who is proud, Yahuwah finds them to be utterly detestable. See, unbelief and pride is the biggest reasons why people don't receive the spirit, because Yahuwah will resist you if you're proud. He will not fool with you. You know what I'm saying? Period. He's not going to do it. Doesn't matter who you are. He's not going to do it. But when you look at Isaiah chapter 3, right, when he talked about 10 looks and a haughty heart. So he said, let me remove this from you and take your pride away from you so you can humble yourself. It ain't got nothing why he don't want you to have it. He doesn't care. He gave it to you. But when you got it, you didn't know how to act. Because now you went and thinking, look how beautiful I am. Look at me, look at me. Now he's disgusted. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people fail to understand. This is why in Proverbs chapter 30, remember what he said in Proverbs 30? Don't give too low, I might still take the name of my God in vain. He said, but if I get full, I might say, who is Yahuwah? Because now you got proud, you got lifted up. See, you wonder why you don't get to do some of the things that you desire to do, because he already know you're going to be proud and you're going to say, who is Yahuwah? So I ain't fooling with you. Y'all just don't understand how much that man hates pride. He utterly detests. Utterly detests. That's why the concept we were talking about last night about yielding and submitting, that's why you have to be willing to do that. You can't get the spirit if you will not be willing to yield. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you can't yield and submit to your husband, a man you can see, you're not going to yield and submit to a man you can't see. You can even convince me of that. Not a man who's made in his image. Don't the book say he made in his image? Ain't that what the law say? Didn't he say a woman should reverence her husband as unto the Lord? So if you couldn't yield to his plan and his vision and be committed to the fulfilling of that, you're not going to convince me you'll do that for you. You will lie from him. You know what I'm saying? You're just saying that because it sounds good. But see, that's harsh. See, that's what me and Monte were talking about for some of y'all get it. The word is harsh. It's very harsh. But it's harsh because it is direct and straightforward. Most people are indirect. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah telling you this is what it is, and you can get down with it or not. But I'm not going to change it up to appease you to fit your desire. We didn't have used this similar tool before. Most of y'all may have said it in your lifetime. What do people say? God got a plan for my life, right? Ain't that what people like to say? But why is his plan always indicative of what you want? How many people you ever heard say, and everything has to run through them? You are a woman because you his bride. See, let me show y'all something in Ezekiel 16. Let me show you something in Ezekiel 16. What I'm saying. Because I ain't talking about a woman in just a natural sense. I'm talking about the house of Yahshua. So that's what you did. That's what you did. Look at what he says you did. I want you to come over here to 16 and 6. Ezekiel 16 and 6. He said, when I pass by you, matter of fact, back that up to verse 5. He said, no, I pitied you to do any of these unto you, to have compassion upon you. But you was cast into an open field to the loathing of your person in the day that you were born. And when I passed by you and saw you polluted in your own blood, I said unto you, when you was in your blood, live. Yea, I said unto you, when you were in your blood, live. I have called you to multiply the blood of the field, and you have increased and waxen great. You are come to excellent ornaments. Your breasts are fashioned. Your hair is grown, whereas you were naked and bare. Now, when I passed by you and looked upon you, behold, your time was the time of love. I spread my skirt over you and covered your nakedness. Yea, I swear unto you and entered into a covenant with you, saith Yahuwah Elohim, and you became mine. Then I washed you with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away your blood from you, and I anointed you with oil. See, now, Paul, on the spiritual level, look what he's telling you he's done. If he's washed away your blood, in the book of Acts, I want to say about chapter 22, Paul was instructed to do what? To go wash away your sins. You know, in Isaiah chapter 1, he said, your hands are covered in blood. You spread your hands to play because you covered in your sins. So when you get immersed, that's what he's telling you. I've washed away your blood. I've anointed you with oil. I've anointed you with the Ruach HaKodesh. People always ask, you get baptized, why you have people confess their sin, you have to do that. Because you would have to show a humble enough mind to confess your faults before Elohim. You would have to be able to do that. If you just think you can get baptized and not confess your faults, then you might not realize the shame that you ought to have for your conduct. But see, we live in a society where shame is not looked upon. Nobody wants to be ashamed for their deeds. See, shame is a part of accountability. You have to be shamed in order to be accountable. You can't enable people and tell them it's okay for being an idiot, because it's not okay. You know what I'm saying? It's really not. See, we were talking about this earlier, right? Mac 10 had an interview. See, I don't know how y'all, I have my perception. I've seen a lot of women. I know y'all women, y'all don't really do this too often. If your homegirl wrong, you might ride with her, but you ain't gonna tell her she wrong when y'all get back to the spot. You're not gonna tell her that. A nigga gonna ride with his nigga right or wrong. But when we get back to the spot, nigga like, you dead wrong for that, but don't come do no jump like that, get up messed up in the game. You can see this nigga was dead wrong. Now y'all done got in a fight. Y'all got a bump. You gonna fight with him. You know what I'm talking about? Then you gonna get back to the house and you be like, boy, don't you never do no jump like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to hold this person accountable for his actions. I'm riding with you regardless, but I'm gonna tell you wrong when we get back to the house. A lot of people don't do that. They don't tell their friends they wrong. Most people are accustomed to people agreeing with every decision that they make, and every move that they make. They don't have a dissenting opinion. Dissenting opinions are needed, because without a dissenting opinion, you may not consider. You recall what Yahuwah said to Jehoshaphat when he was standing there with Ahab? Before they came to the fight, before they even went. Yahuwah had told Jehoshaphat, well, he told Ahab, he said, if Jehoshaphat wasn't here, bro, I wouldn't even see you, because I don't fool with you. The only reason why I'm even come through because I fool with him. And then he chastised Jehoshaphat later for fooling with niggas who don't fool with him. Like, what's wrong with you? Because see, when Jehoshaphat came and Ahab said, I want to go to war, Jehoshaphat said, are there any other prophets of Elohim here besides these? Because all these prophets said, go ahead and do it, bro. Go ahead and fight them people. It was one prophet. You remember his name? No. That ends with the Maya. It was the Ayah. It ain't Shemaiah with the Kai. One prophet came and said, hey, bro, you go up there, nigga, you dying. And all your prophets got a lying spirit in their mouth. But who ain't rolling with you? But he had that happen because Jehoshaphat was there. Jehoshaphat, you wrong. And I'm riding with you. But I'm going to tell you about yourself when we get back to this house. He has no qualms with telling you, don't fool with him. What did he tell Samuel in regards to Saul? What you around here crying for this nigga for? Seeing I done rejected him to be king. Get up and go do what I told you to do. And stop crying for this nigga. I don't fool with this nigga. Because he's stupid. He don't listen. You know what I'm saying? And that's pride. He don't care for that. Every man in here can tell you they don't want to deal with a woman who don't listen. We were just talking about it wasn't that a thing a couple years ago talking about a woman that'll listen? Shoot, you supposed to listen anyway. You know what I'm saying? Why does it seem like that's a bonus because you listen? That shows you the sad state of affairs of a generation of women that they feel like that they have to boast that they listen. That means that's failures of men as fathers. That's what that shows you. That the men have. Why would you want to lead that? This is what Yahuwah got disgusted about. My wife don't listen. And you know what he did because we didn't listen, right? We over here in America having this conversation talking about they got coronavirus and you can't go nowhere. Isaiah 16, Ezekiel 16. Look at what he said in verse 10 though. After this, we'll read Isaiah 3. He said, I clothed you also with broidered work and shod you with badger skin. I girded you about with fine linen. I covered you with silk. I decked you also with ornaments. I put bracelets upon your hands and a chain on your neck. I put a jewel on your forehead and earrings in your ears and a beautiful crown upon your head. And you were decked with gold and silver. Your raiment was of fine linen, silk, and broidered work. You did eat comeliness. Now let's look at that. He said your beauty was perfect through the comeliness of Yahuwah. It wasn't of your own work. See, that's a hard one that we don't like to deal with in that regard. That goes back to what we read last night in John chapter 15, that without him, you can do nothing. Because all the wealth that he's mentioning, it came from him. It didn't come from you. Ain't that John Keith? There we go. Now that word perfect here is kayil, which is entire, all perfect. You have a kaf and you have a two lamaz and a yod. So notice that when you're looking at that perfection, the first thing that you see is a kaf, so you see somebody who's subdued by the work of the shepherd's teaching. This you're able to be entire, all, and perfect, or to be whole, because you would be submitted, or so you would be submitting to this man's teachings. When you submitting to this man's teachings, then you could be able to submit to doing his work. Because see, he has a job that he has tasked all that serve him to do. Everybody has a particular function in the body, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. It is all for the performance of his work. Because remember, we his wife, so technically we would be his helpmeet. So we're supposed to be an aid, a help, and a relief to the furtherance of the work of your husband, which is Yahushua. That's why he translates that over to the natural. That's what a woman is supposed to do to her husband. Aid, help, and relieve him. It's not about what you want to do. Just imagine if Yahushua assisted Yasharal and what we wanted to do. Can you imagine the state of the world? It would be 100 times worse than what it already is right now, because you do what you want to do. Imagine if he assisted you in offering children to Molech. See, that sounds stupid, don't it? Imagine if he assisted you in committing adultery with your neighbor's wife. Imagine if he assisted you in slaying the righteous. Imagine if he assisted you in that, because that was an aid, help, and a relief to you. That's your plan. That's not his plan. So your objective as a wife is to assist him in his plan and his vision. I'm talking about the wife that is Yasharal, who's been espoused to this man. And you've been espoused to one husband. And he got a godly jealousy over you. This is why he said that do not worship other gods, for I'm a jealous Elohim. He's a, no man is that. This man created all this. And look at all the stuff he said he gave you. And look what he said you did after that. Now let me get you this communist, because that word for communist is hadar. And that's splendor, your honor, your majesty, your glory. And you got hate, and you got dalit, and you got rock. Let's continue. Look at verse 15 in Ezekiel 16. He said, but you did trust in your own beauty and played the harlot because of your renown and poured out your fornications on everyone that passed by it as it was. And of your garments that you did take and decked your high places with diverse colors and played the harlot thereupon, a like thing shall not come, neither shall it be so. You've also taken your fair jewels of my gold and silver, and I had given you, and made to yourself images of men, and did commit whoredom with them. Let's look at this here about you trusted in your own beauty. And that's the word patah. Now, when you look at because of your renown in this verse, in verse 15, that's Shem. You trusted in your own name, or you trusted in yourself. So that's what his point was. You no longer trusted in Yahuwah, you trusted in yourself. This is why the wicked flee when no man pursueth, because you don't want to take the accountability for your actions. Now come over here to Isaiah chapter 3. You can pick it up at verse 16. Isaiah 3 and 16. He say, moreover, you who are saying, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanting eyes, walking and mincing as they go, making a tinkling with their feet. Let's look at this word for haughty. It is gavah. Understand? It is to be high, and it is to be exalted, it is to be arrogant. You have gamal, you have bat, and you have hay. But the key thing is you see that gamal is in the midst. That means your pride. Listen what he says after this. Therefore, Yahuwah will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahuwah will discover their secret parts. So what does this mean? He's going to reveal your heart to you, and it's going to be manifested before everybody. Or he's going to hold you accountable, and he's going to expose you. Let's continue. And that day the Lord will take away the bravery of the tinkling of your ornaments about their feet and their calves and their round tires like the moon, the chains, the bracelets, the mufflers, the bonnets, the ornaments of the legs, headbands, the tablets, the earrings, the rings, the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, the mantles, the wimples, the crisping pins, the glasses, the fine linen, the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girl, a rent, instead of well set hair, baldness, instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. So what is he telling you? That he's going to bust you down and humble you to the lowest core because you trusted in yourself. When it says that your renown, it says Shem, it says name. So he's saying that instead of not understanding that your beauty came from the perfection of his comeliness, you began to trust in yourself. And what is that? What I mentioned in Proverbs 30. I got this by my own hands. Who is Yahuwah? This is why he don't want you to be caring about outside things. They don't mean anything. You'll get lifted up in your pride. You'll forget your maker. That way you won't be bold as a lion. That's why do you think these people always promote all this extra stuff of no weight or value to attach yourself to, whether men or women? They try to influence men, get you certain type of clothes that cost a certain amount of money, get certain type of rims to put on your car, get you this type of jewelry, this type of jewelry. It came to y'all and said, put the dog hair in your scalp. You know what I'm saying? Come over here and get your nails did like this and your eyebrows like all of that stuff is outward stuff that means absolutely nothing. Some of y'all was sitting here. Y'all remember what y'all mentioned when you got dolled up, you got lifted up in your pride. You went to smelling yourself. You thought you were somebody. But really, that was just to cover up the insecurities that you did not want to face. You didn't really feel that you were that beautiful or that great. But when you put all that extra stuff on, it gave you, I say that because when he brought you in the four corners of the earth where he scattered you at, what did he do? He stripped you bare and left you with nothing. And all you're going to have to be able to do is look to him. Matter of fact, when you look at Mashal, what did they do to him when they got ready to kill him? Stripped him bare and exposed his secret parts in front of everybody, humbled him. And who's the only person he gonna be able to look to in that situation? He gonna have to look to his father. Ain't nowhere else to look. This is why in Daniel chapter 12 he said that I will take when I accomplish this out of the power of the Kadash people, then it will be over. Because I'm gonna have to humble you. Matter of fact, come over here to Isaiah chapter. Coming down the one thing that he told you not to despise, which is what? His chastity or his rebuke. That's how you actually be able to be bold because you be able to have more confidence and trust in him because of it. I want you to come to Isaiah chapter 40. What verse do I want? You can pick it up at verse. Then we'll go back to Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and 1. It says, comfort you, my people, saith your Elohim. Speak you comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her. That her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity makes straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall be made straight, and rough places plain. Notice that he said that everybody would be made low. Matter of fact, we were looking at that in Isaiah 24. So swing to Isaiah 24. Remember what Yahushua said? Everyone that exalts himself shall be abased, and everyone that humbles himself shall be exalted. See, we don't want to humble ourselves to be lifted up. But that's the only way. At the end of the day, Yahushua was exalted because he humbled himself under death. You're not even being asked to humble yourself under death, and yet we refuse to do it. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 4. But for man. Isaiah 24 and 4. The earth mourns and fades away. The world languish and fade away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Let's look at language. What he said, his head. That word is a maul. It means that they're weak. They grow feeble. So the proud people will be destroyed. They'll be made to be low, to be weak. He said the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they transgressed the laws, they changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. So what have you done? You've made things to be how you want them to be. Now Yahuwah's plan is according to your will and not his. That's pride. That means at this point, you seeking for him to submit and yield to you. And then say that that's what it is to make yourself feel better about what you're doing. He said, therefore, have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are born, burned, and few men left. So that's his response to your pride. I'm going to kill everybody and leave only a handful. He said, the new wine mourn, the vine languish, and the merry-hearted do sigh. So I don't need all of that. Come back over here to 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1, if you would. First Peter chapter 3, verse 1. Say likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, that they also may without the word be won by the conduct of the wives. Listen, we done discussed before. If your husband out of pocket, the only way that you can win him is by your conduct, not by you running your mouth. Irregardless of what the world tell you, if you want to win a man over, you win him over with your actions, not what you talk. Because he's not going to listen to you, especially if your actions are not congruent with your speech. You know what I'm saying? But see, that is another example of the feminine power of femininity, because you can actually influence by what you do and not what you say. See, a lot of people don't understand that because you've been told to win people over with your mouth and not win people over with your actions. Because if a man sit back and he see his wife profess that she believe the word, and then she treats him according to that very word in every aspect, in every arena, every time, you don't think after a while that man will pause and consider and say, you know what? I might need to take in consideration what this is she doing. Because I ain't never seen nothing like this before. But see, y'all don't believe that because you feel like I need to tell him everything I think and everything I feel versus just doing what you're supposed to be doing. That speaks volumes. That speaks louder. Everybody say actions speak louder than words. And I look at a person's actions, but most of the time, most people just want to run their mouth and complain and don't actually want to do what they're supposed to do. Same token I done told you about trying to win people to the word. You want to tell them about it, but you're not living it though. So what makes you think they're going to listen to you? If they see you spiteful, if they see you malicious, if they see you covetous, if they see you a liar, if they see that you defile the Sabbath, if they see you do this, that, there, and the third, and then you telling them, come do this and come do that, they laughing at you. Niggas, you serious, nigga? You don't even fear who you say you fear. So why would I? If you don't have respect for your father and you don't have respect for your husband, then why would I want to come and be a foot in blaspheme because of you? Because you say one thing and you do another versus just living it. You'll win way more people over by than you opening your mouth. You can influence your man way more by your actions than opening your mouth. Because what did he tell his apostles to do? To follow him and be an example. That's all you have to do. Verse 2 though, he said, while they behold your chaste conduct coupled with fear. So this man is beholding your conduct and your reverence. Not only your reverence for your father, but your reverence for him. So that nigga would go to hell if he didn't amend his behavior. Because that's a testimony against him. You know, in Philippians chapter 2, I think about verse 13, he tell you to be a light amongst a crooked and perverse generation. You live righteously, don't have to open your mouth. You're testifying against him. You're testifying against him. You're testifying without opening your mouth. Because if Mashiach is in you and you are in him, and you are a living testimony of the goodness and forbearance of Ahim, therefore they will be damned when they resist it. But see, that's what being bold as a lion is about. Your confidence is in Elohim. Your confidence is not in yourself. you always feel the need to persuade and cajole and to push somebody, your confidence is really in yourself. I know y'all should know the answer to this. Who said they would let their righteousness speak for them? That wasn't Job. It wasn't Daniel. It was a man, he said, my righteousness shall speak for me. Wasn't Joseph? What man said, my righteousness shall speak for me? Going once? Going twice? So, Genesis chapter 30. I appreciate the effort. Because you just might not remember. It's been a while. I appreciate that. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Genesis chapter 30 and verse 25. And it came to pass when Rachel had born Joseph that Jacob said to Laban, send me away that I may go into my own place, into my country. He said, you know his service, right? I'm just sharing this because this just come to mind. I feel like you need to hear. Hebrews chapter 6, real quickly. This Hebrews chapter 6. We told in Isaiah, we did in Isaiah 24. I don't need nothing else. Hebrews chapter 6. 6 and 7. 6 and 7. Hebrews 6 and 7. He said, for the earth will drink in the rain that come often upon it, and bring forth herbs meet for them by whom it is dressed, receive blessing from Elohim. But that which bear thorns and briars is rejected, and near under cursing, whose end is to be burned. Now we just read about, he said he'll burn the earth. That's pride. So when you briars and thorns, you get rejected. Well, why did Yahuwah reject Esau? Pride. Why did he reject Saul? Pride. When you look at anybody who he rejects them because of their refusal to humble themselves under him. I'm telling you, that man utterly despises a proud heart. He utterly despises. You know what I'm saying? And that will cause you to be burned. Nevertheless, he said, but beloved, listen to what he said. We are persuaded better things of you and the things that accompany salvation, so we thus speak. This is why I constantly harp on the fact of yield and submit yourselves. Because that's a better thing for you. You do that, you can receive the Spirit. You receive the Spirit, how could you perish? Whether you, just like we read last night with Paul, he said, whether I be dead or whether I be alive, Mashiach is magnified in my body. It doesn't matter. So you can't receive that Spirit. And of course, you know this. What got Yahushua out the grave? It was the Ruach HaKodesh. But how did it raise him? Because he yielded. He humbled himself even unto death, the death of the cross. Don't get no more humble than that. Can you imagine somebody your daddy look in your face and say, son, all these people out here, right? They hate your guts. They don't believe nothing you say. I need you to go die for them. Can you handle that for me? Now, how many people in here would say, oh, no, absolutely not. Or what you read in Hosea, where he said, go marry a whore. You know what I'm saying? That's what he told him to do. Y'all know that what he told him to do in Hosea chapter 3, right? Go marry a whore. So the children of Yasharal can know the love of my love towards them. Oh, y'all didn't know that? You look like you didn't know that. That's a personal problem. I'm saying she's looking crazy like she didn't know that. Who didn't know that he told Hosea to go do that? Oh, you did? Come on to Hosea chapter 3. I'll show you. Chubby man, you all right? You're sitting there moving around like you're constipated. Hosea chapter 3, verse 1. Look what it say. Hosea chapter 3, verse 1. Look what it say. Well then. Then said Yahuwah unto me, go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of Yahuwah towards the sons of Yasharal, who look to other gods and love pagans of wine. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for a homer of barley, and a half homer of barley. And I said unto her, you shall abide for me for many days. You shall not play the harlot. You shall not be for strong love right now. Average man ain't gonna do that. Come on back to Hebrew chapter 6. Mordecai. What's up, cuz? You all right? You sitting down? Sit down. Batman. Calm down, son. Close your legs for one, because you got your business in the street. Hebrews 6 and 9. Now the thing what he was saying, but notice, because that's what he did, because we just read that earlier in Ezekiel 16 about us messing around with other gods. But his love, you should remember, 2 Samuel 14, right? That woman said he'll bring up a means to bring his banished back to him. See, that's a different type of love that Yahuwah possessed. That this proud, arrogant woman who I married, who trusted in her own name, I figured out a way to bring her back. So when I bring her back, her boldness or her confidence in me is going to be so high that she would never depart from me. You know, in Jeremiah 31, do you know what he said he would allure you with? Loving kindness. That's why the gospel has to be preached, because it's a gospel of reconciliation. It's the loving kindness of Yahuwah. Nevertheless, 6 and 9, Hebrews. But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and the things that accompany salvation, thus, though we thus speak. For Elohim is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which you have showed towards his name, and that you've ministered to the saints and do minister. See, this is what Jacob just said. You know my work, ain't that what it said? So he's saying, Laban, I know you ain't forgot what I've done. Elohim don't forget what you do. He know the work that, let me read it to you again. Elohim is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which you have showed towards his name. What did he tell you in Malachi? That he said many spoke often one to another and mentioned the name of Yahuwah, and a book of remembrance was written before him for those that thought upon his name. See, Yahuwah not an unrighteous person. See, that's what people do. See, people, somebody do good works towards you and you forget them. See, Yahuwah don't forget. This is why he say that if you accept a man in a prophet's name, you get a prophet's reward. And if you accept a righteous man in a righteous man's name, you get a righteous man's reward. Yahuwah is not going to forget. Everything is law. He don't forget nothing. You know how some people be like, if you do good works, blessings come down, right? And that's what people tell you. And they told you right. You can still go to hell. See, doing like, you know, some people feel like if I give some money to the homeless man at the corner, that's going to get me into heaven. No, Yahuwah see that good work and he'll reward you for the good. Still going to hell. Because you unbelieving and disobedient. But that's what people tell you and they teach people, whether they go to church or not. If you just do good to people, you'll get in. No, Yahuwah will reward you for doing good, but you still going to go to hell. Many wonderful works in you. I don't know you guys. He got a detailed ledger. Everybody who live in his house, you don't live here. He gonna be looking around there. You know this thing? Matter of fact, he ain't gonna look around. What is Yahushua said he would do? Look out the window and say, "Who are you? Why are you knocking on my door?" See, I want you to get that and pop that in your mind. Could you imagine knocking on the door and your parents looking out the window like, "Nigga, I don't know you," and you've been telling everybody how great they were, and you did this and did this before. And then when you turn around, it's lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Snakes and serpents and a hot flame. 6 and 11. And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end, and that you be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. See, be bold as a lion. Don't be no lazy nigga. Remember, bold as a lion, those characters for both of them, for the kafar and the batak, was basically that you feel is separated with the word. And the other one was to be filled with the word and with worship, to praise, humble, and serve Yahuwah. So the only way that you can be bold as a lion is to trust in and submit to Yahuwah. If you're not going to submit and you don't trust, then how could you really have any boldness to stand? You wouldn't. Because boldness is a sign of strength, according to Ecclesiastes 8 and 1, and trust in Yahuwah, and trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. Without trust in Yahuwah, what strength do you really have? You don't have any strength. In Zechariah 4 and 6, Zechariah made a statement from the mouth of Yahuwah, not by might, not by strength, but by my ruach, saith Yahuwah. That's what he says. It don't matter what you think you can do. You ain't gonna accomplish nothing but by Yahuwah. That's our biggest problem as a people. You think you can do stuff without him. The same difference that in this society, a woman thinks she can do stuff without a man. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no man to do this and do that. And guess what they end up having? A lot of the women who say, I don't need no man, is 40 years old looking for a nigga lonely. Got a house full of cats, dogs in the backyard to take up for that slack because you chose this over actually being a helpmeet to a righteous man. Period. Not no good man. We don't care about it. You can be a good man to eat. You know what I'm saying? And now you alone talking about you ain't got no man because you thought all that success and all that status was going to actually replace the fact that you were resisting your natural role that your creator called you to be. And you don't want to be that. I want to be as seen as this successful, strong woman. Now you're alone. You know what I'm saying? Now you ain't got no protection and provision. Ain't nobody to lead you and guide you. You're leading yourself. And clearly you couldn't lead yourself right because you're 40 years old and you're alone. So how good was your compass? Back to Genesis chapter 30. I stopped at what? Verse 26. He said, give me my wives and my sons for whom I have served you and let me go. For you know my service, which I have done you. Laban said to him, I pray you, if I found favor in your eyes, wait, for I have learned by experience that Yahuwah have blessed me for your sake. See, that's all Laban cared about. See, a righteous man was there and Laban was getting blessed because of it. So he was trying to keep him there as long as possible. Selfish bastard. And he said, appoint me your wages and I will give it. He said unto him, you know how I have served you and how your cattle was with me. For it was little which you had before I came, it is now increased unto a multitude. You have blessed you since my coming. And now, when shall I provide for my own house also? He said, what shall I give you? And Jacob said, you shall not give me anything. If you will do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep your flock. I will pass through all your flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come from my hire before your face. Everyone that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted, stolen with me. And that's what that First Peter chapter 3 is trying to impart. To not trust in yourself, but trust in Yahuwah and let him judge righteousness. Come back to First Peter chapter 3. Hey, put that in the trash. Thank you for your cooperation. Say, while they behold your chaste conduct coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of the plaiting the hair, the wearing of gold, or putting on of apparel. But let it be that hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet ruach, which is in the sight of Elohim of great price. That's whether, now he's speaking to women specifically, but even as his bride being joined to his body, a quiet and humble spirit is what's more valuable to Yahuwah than anything. And not all the outward adorning, not locks, not fringes, not Hebrew outfits, but a humble spirit. Not fly clothes, not hair weaves, not plucked eyebrows, lashes, painted toenails, fingernails. None of that stuff means absolutely nothing. You know, it's going to be a very large amount of beautiful women burning in hell. Yahuwah is not going to be sitting there looking, well, that girl, that is beautiful. I did myself when I made that one. No, he's going to be like, yeah, get your stinking butt in hell, you rotten skank. Because that's how he going to look at it. He going to call you a skank. He going to call you a whore, a harlot. Oh, you find that something? I mean, it is what it is. Because remember what I be telling y'all, and I have to keep reiterating that being a whore has nothing to do necessarily with having many sexual partners. It is a mindset. You could be with one man and be a whore. Like I told you, Beyonce is a strong example of a whore. Strong example of a whore. Because she has influence over women to be rebellious. Whores are rebellious. Whores are rebellious. That's what makes a woman a whore, is rebellion. You know what I'm saying?
Who's that?
That's what makes a woman a whore, because she teaches and walks in rebellion. And that's not what you want to do. Not what you want. 1 Timothy chapter 2 as well. Oh no. 2 and 9. Don't go in the back, Bird. Don't go in the back. Bird, you're gonna end up going in the back. You know what's gonna happen, Bird, when you go in the back? They're gonna start singing that Negro song they sing up here. And no, you're out of here.
They're gonna start singing.
They're gonna start. You know how they be humming when you come in the funeral? Thanks, Bird. Trouble in my way. Don't do it, Bird. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Read some letter.
Suck your lip in and be quiet. 1 Timothy 2 and 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which become women professing godliness with good works. Let the women learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over a man, but to be in silence. See, a lot of women say, see, that's oppressing women. It's not about being the because you just read it. He said, a quiet and meek spirit. And I'm referencing this to what we just read in Numbers 13. What did it say Caleb did to the people in Numbers 13? We just read it last night. What did it say Caleb did to the people in Numbers 13 when they were coming back to give a report of the land? Does anybody recall what it said that Caleb did to the people? It said he caused them to be still. You remember what that meant? It meant he caused them to be quiet. Because you know what happens when you talk too much? Matter of fact, in the book of Proverbs, it tells you that a fool is known by what? His multitude of words. So this is what this means, because if you sit around and you run in your mouth, you can't really learn anything. What does the book tell you? To be swift to hear and slow to speak. So he's telling the woman to be silent so that she can learn. Because if she's steady talking, she can't learn. Because it's the man's job to nurture her and bring her to maturity. How is she going to be able to be brought to maturity if she always talking? That's impossible. That's not about oppression. That's about proper order. It's just that dudes go around and say, woman, shut you. You got dudes who tell women to be in silence. That ain't even your woman. You can't go tell random women to be quiet. Nigga be online, Hebrew woman, you need to be quiet. Now, a man can do that if a group of men talking. You need to close your mouth. Clearly, your mama them ain't teaching no good. Because your mama's supposed to told you if a group of men talking, you ain't supposed to interject yourself. You supposed to stay over there where you supposed to be at. See, that came from when grown people were talking when y'all were grown. Your mama them let you sit there in their mouth and listen to what they were talking about. So now you get grown, and you can do the same thing when a group of men talking. You don't take your butt somewhere else. That's just proper respect. You know what I'm saying? That's just proper respect. That's why dudes be posting that meme all the time about what should a woman do when a man's friends come over? Because old school women tell you she will excuse herself. Because you know why she's going to excuse herself? Why do I want to sit in a room with a bunch of niggas? For what? I don't want to sit in there with all them. There ain't none of them my man. I'm going to ask my man, maybe you need something to eat, you need something to drink. I'll excuse myself to the room. You know where to find me if you need. It's no different. Ain't no dude want to sit around his wife and all her friends. He's going to call me, you know what? I'm going to take a job. Here's the gym. I'll be in the back. You know what I'm saying? But also for that purpose is that stamps down confusion. See, Brandon hit me up the other day talking about, bro, I told my flated friend about you. You want to say hello? I said, absolutely not. What I want to talk to her for? That's your woman. Why I want to sit down and have a conversation with another nigga's woman? Matter of fact, you can introduce me to your woman. I'll be like, hello. And that's it. That's the extent of it. Because that keep confusion now. Why would a nigga want to have a close relationship with another man's wife? Even if there's nothing improper going on, that causes confusion. What did he tell you in the epistle letter? Have no appearance of evil. You don't even want it to look wrong for a person to be able to say this is improper. But that's how you're supposed to be taught. That's how older people talk. You don't do that. Nigga around here. They do. Sit with another man's wife at me. Let me take you out on a dinner date, baby. For what? Now this man coming back, so hold what you got going on. Now he want to cut and kill you. Yeah, that just sound good in the world on TV. Look here, man. Nigga like this here, nigga want to take your, my husband coming with. Matter of fact, a nigga gonna be like this here. I just asked your husband about it. That's just to keep confusion down. That's just all that's about. That's just to keep confusion down. You know what I'm saying? Another man can't walk around correct another man's wife. If his wife out of pocket, you know what you do? You're gonna tell her husband. You know what I'm saying? Hey, check this out, bro. Your old lady tripping. Might want to talk to her. You know what I'm saying? That just cut confusion out. Because some niggas ain't good with that. Niggas see you straightening their wife, that nigga might come off the top rope. Hit you with the Hulk Hogan leg drop. I wouldn't care if you had been friends with that woman for 45 years. Or take that to her husband. That's just what you do. It's honorable. He tell you that in 1 Corinthians 14. That's a shame for them to be talking in here. Because y'all going to be causing confusion. Because you're going to be talking about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with that. Then guess what? Other people going to be doing. Well, they doing it. I can do it too. Now disorder in the place. You're supposed to sit down and be quiet. But guess what? You know who's supposed to tell you to shut your mouth? Your man's supposed to tell you to shut your mouth. Girl, be quiet. We'll talk about that when I get to the house. So here said people who run by them used to make them go in the other room. And he's supposed to be around. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? A woman ain't supposed to be sitting around interjecting. That causes disorder and confusion. But see, some people say that's that old stuff. You gotta be progressive. Man, nobody trying to hear all that. That doesn't sound good, but that's why people in the state that they in right now. See if that helps that out. We got a connection problem. A little unstable. There we go. Silence. Silence. Go lay down. Go lay down. Clearly, you tired. Verse 14, we don't need all that. But all this is in regard to everything that I'm mentioning about being bold or your strength. Come back to Ecclesiastes 8. Oh, you want to must lay down too? Oh, you do? Oh. Well, better lay down than get laid down. Because I would hate that for you. Oh, you would hate it too, huh? You're a smart man. So notice, right, he said, who knows it? I notice that all the things that we look at is to say who knows the interpretation or the solution. You're paired to the word of the highest. This is how you know how to solve things. If you're going to solve any problem, any issue, you've got to be paired to the word. You've got to be paired to the word. No, that was more so the slide. It's not as bad as the slide. I don't, but I know that was more kickback than force. Recoil. That's all that was. That wasn't no strong strike. Look at it. That boy butt ain't burning. He's looking around like, so ain't nobody gonna do nothing? That's how you do it. But you don't listen, cuz. That's how it happens to you. Hey, boy, hey, be quiet. 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 It said, who has as the wise man, who knows the interpretation of a thing? Man's wisdom make his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. So, of course, odd is the word for boldness. Changed here is Shana. That means to alter or to change. You got Shan, Noon, and Olive. So you get paired to the strength of life when your face is changed. But as Zayn and that Olive and Saran hit it on the hill, you know the word, and you know the sword or that cutting instrument. You know the word. This is where your strength comes from. In John chapter 6, verse 63, he said, you know, it's the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Let's take a look at Yahoo tried a couple instances how that boldness made his face to change because he knew the word. And after that, we'll look at Acts chapter 4 along with that. But I opened up to John 11. Let's see if I got anything in John 11 that I can use. We don't want to use John 11. But we will use John chapter 7. And we'll pick it up at verse 28. Don't lick your snot, son. Just ask for a nap. Oh, you want your mama? Oh. And you steady licking your snot. Oh, you want your daddy? Then lay down. You what? 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 Paul saying, you both know me, and you know whence I am, and I come not of myself, but he that sent me is true, whom you know not. Now listen to what he just stated. He said, you know who I am and where I come from, but the person who sent me, he's true, and you don't know him. Now look at the boldness of his statements, or the strength and the veracity that he's going to be able to make these statements. Listen to the next thing he said. He said, but I know him, for I am from him, and he has sent me. Don't look at the sent me part. Look at what he said. I know him, and I'm from him. Pause. Just swing over a chapter, if you will. 8, John chapter 8, verse 45. Just swing over a chapter. I just want you to look at his statement. John chapter 8, verse 45. He said, because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Which of you convinced me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of Elohim hears Elohim's words. You therefore hear them. Because he just told him, if I tell you the truth, you don't believe me. He said, if I'm dead wrong, if I'm not wrong, why are you trying to convince me that I'm wrong? Then he said, you know what? Matter of fact, you don't hear what I'm talking about because you're not of God in the first place. Because if you was, you would hear. But since you're not, you won't. Now we're going to tie this to the beast. If not today, y'all willing next week. Because you know what matter of fact, I just mentioned it now. In 1 John chapter 4, right? You know what he told you about he that is greater than you is greater than he that is in the world? You familiar with that? Let's take a look at it. 1 John chapter 4. First John 4 and 1. It's all good. First John chapter 4 and verse 1. He said, beloved, believe not every ruach, but try the ruach, whether they have Elohim, because many false prophets are gone into the world. Now this is something too, right? Now he's telling you about preaching, people who come with the word. But whether it's male or female, and you dealing with somebody, if you want to see if they are Elohim, then all you have to do is try them by the word, and you'll know. Yeah. See, again, this is like what we were talking about. You don't know stuff or how people are because you're ignorant, because you're green. And instead of taking the time for somebody to teach you, you jump off head first in the world. Then you get upset because people play you because you're green. Yeah. But if people show you they're not of God, they be showing you. He said, test them. Now, if somebody trying you to see if you are Elohim, would you be offended? Would that offend you? Because if you were Elohim, I put it to this way, did they not try Yahoo try to see if he was Yahuwah? Matter of fact, what we read in John chapter 7 and John chapter 8 is very evidence of that. How many times did you read him being offended by them trying? Now, when you look at trying, take an example. The boldness of his face caused it to change or alter. When they brought that woman caught in adultery, what did they ask him to do? Should we stone her, right? What did he do? No, he stood right there writing in the dirt. He didn't even, this is my point. He didn't entertain a fire. See, that's an example of I'm telling you something. You ought to listen. You already know, man, you was some stupidity. I'm not entertaining that. So they kept pressing him. He said, you know what? Check this out, my nigga. He without saying Captain First on. Now everybody falling out. Because in trying him to see if he was Elohim or not, they found out that he was forgiving and compassionate. Because he looked at a woman, he said, woman, no man condemn you? She said, no, Lord. He said, then I don't. Go and sin no more. Simple as that. And based off of that, you've seen that he was of Elohim. Because he says he's the merciful Elohim, forgiving sin and iniquity, but by no means clearing the guilty. When you know the word and you would have saw that, you would have known clearly this man is of God. Because if he was not, then he would have not done that. He would have stood right up with them people and said, hit her upside the head with a rock. See, there's a difference between judgment and condemnation. Judgment is showing right from wrong. Judgment is the ability to rebuke and exhort. Condemnation is exactly that, executing the sentence of the violation. That's the difference. See, most people take correction as you condemning me. No man on this earth has the ability to condemn. Ain't nobody put nobody in the lake of fire. You put yourself there. Nobody preaching the word can put you there. They can show you that that word say you're going to go there based off his conduct, but they cannot physically put you there. During those times, somebody could pick up a stone and stone you. Which, truth be told, y'all already know they supposed to have her husband with her. I had a dude with her. Because she wrong, but truth be told, the dude's even wrong. Because he coveted another man. He violated several laws. But nevertheless. Verse 2, he said, hereby know you the Ruach of Elohim. Every Ruach that confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Elohim. Every Ruach that confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Elohim. And that is the spirit of anti-Mashiach. Well, you have heard that it should come, even now always, already is it in the world. You are of Elohim, little sons, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore they speak they of the world, and the world hear them. We are of Elohim. He that know Elohim hear us. He that is not of Elohim hear not us. Hereby we know the Ruach of truth and the Ruach of error. Yeah, that's correct, sir. That is correct. But also showing mercy, because in Psalms he tell you there's forgiveness with Yahuwah that he might be feared. See, we don't also understand that concept, that if you're in a position of authority and that the people who are over you see that there's forgiveness with you, then they can have reverence and respect for you because of it, because of the compassion that's extended. You understand? See, you go see every last one of us has offended against Yahuwah. So your reverence for Yahuwah should be high because he extended forgiveness. Like he said in one of the songs, but don't let you go back to folly. Don't get forgiven and then go back to being stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, now you really just digging your own grave. But notice what he said, right? And this pertains to the peace. I want you to pause. I'll come back to John and come over here to Daniel. You couldn't Ecclesiastes. Because to know the word is how your face will change. Which is what makes you bold as a lion, because you're filled and separated by the word and by the worship of Elohim. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Daniel chapter 11, verse 30, maybe 28. Verse 28 is fine. Daniel 11. Renee. Hey, I called you. Where are you going? What are you doing? Daniel 11 and 28. Then shall he return into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the Kadash covenant, and he shall do exploits and return into his own land. Notice that it said his heart will be against the covenant. Now I want you to pause and let's go to Romans 9. Before we even go any further, I guess I know y'all know the covenant, but I want us to look at a few things, because it says that this man's heart will be against the set apart covenant. This is why he makes war with those who have the instructions of Elohim and the testimony of Yahushua, because his mind is against the set apart agreement. Romans chapter 9 and verse 1. We hold in John 7 and John 8. All of this is indicative. The covenant or the agreement is what makes you going to have the ability to endure, the boldness to be as a lion, if you will. Stop that, sir. Please. Romans 9:1. Please. Please. Romans 9:1. I say the truth of Mashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Ruach HaKodesh, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I wish that myself were cursed from Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption. So pause. What is the adoption? Huh? No, it's not the covenant. He says who pertain the adoption. You can't think old covenant when pertaining to the adoption on this one. Being the son of Elohim, because that's what it pertains to. Tells you that in Romans 8. And now you can cry out, Abba. Tell you the same thing in Ephesians 4, if I'm not mistaken. So one of the first things that he has a problem with is that you are become the sons of Elohim. That's a part of is that not a part of the covenant that he made? That he put the Torah in your heart and in your inward parts and forgive your sins? And he said he came and gave them power to become the sons of Elohim, everyone that believe on his name. That's a part of the covenant that this man has a problem with. The next thing it says, and the esteem. Well, the esteem comes from you being a son of Elohim, because you should know that from Genesis 49, because he said that you are the beginning of my strength and the excellency of my might. A son is the esteem of his father. The next thing it said, and the covenants. So now he go to talking about those said covenants. He has a problem with that. And the giving of the law and the service of Elohim and the promises. So he has a problem with the land. He has a problem with him saying that he would not, that he set a son of David upon the throne, because that's a covenant that he made. He's got a problem with the fact that he said he would bring the Levite priest to serve under that priesthood of Melchizedek. He's got a problem that he made a covenant that as long as the sun and the moon give their light, that he will not exterminate the seed of Yasharal forever. He has a problem with that. These are all the agreements that Yahuwah has made. He has a problem with that. That means if he has a problem with the Kadash covenant, he has a problem with the instructions of Yahuwah. The instructions of Yahuwah do not allow him to prosper. That's why he say, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world, because we know the Ruach of error and the Ruach of truth. That covenant that he's trying to teach is of error. Those who of Elohim will not hear that. But those who are of Elohim are going to be speaking of the covenant, and these people are going to despise you. Because they're going to, remember, right? He said those that don't confess that Yahushua came in the flesh is what? An anti-Mashiach. So when the beast come, they're going to confess, man, Yahushua ain't never came. That's him right there. Because them Jewish people already said he ain't came. Or they try to clean it up. But he wasn't the one. Cloud down and snatched him up off of it, and then they thought he was off of it. You mean to tell me a man was hanging on a tree, you turned your head and turned back, he was gone? Yeah, it's in the Quran too. Harry Houdini. Harry was a Houdini, all right, wicked bastard with a warlock self. And now niggas running me around here talking about David Blaine. They say they believe he was. No, they don't. Not in the Quran, they don't say that. They say they do not believe that he died. They say they believe that Allah took him. That's what they believe. They don't believe that he's the son of God. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of brews, they say we waiting on the Imam Mahdi. We ain't worried about no Imam Mahdi. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looking at everybody thinking like this here. Look at what Trump doing. Can't nothing about no Trump. See, Trump gonna get his head knocked off because Trump is controlled, but he's still a bucker at the same time. He's a man. When I say a man and you've been a man, he don't care. Yeah, you can tell me what to do, but I'm gonna do what I want to do. And see, that's what's gonna get him clipped. See, these white folks feel like JFK was the last real president we had. That bastard was wicked too. But he was a bucker though. See, even though them people put people in place, some of them buck and go against the plan. That's why they knock them off. It ain't too many of them that done buck. See, Ronald Reagan bucked and they shot him. See, y'all, I told y'all don't know Ronald Reagan is. You know who Ronald Reagan is, bro? He was a wicked bastard. You know, Ronald Reagan was Donald Trump before Donald Trump. Oh, you don't know who Ronald Reagan is? Who is Ronald Reagan? Who's Ronald Reagan?
Dope boy country MC.
No, he wasn't no dope. He was an actor, like a real live actor. And he was governor of California before he became president. When he was president, allegedly, he was senile. Huh? Yeah, definitely. And they named the airport after him. No, Ronald Reagan. Allegedly, Ronald Reagan. When Ronald Reagan became president, he was almost old as Trump. You know what I'm saying? And allegedly he was senile, and that in reality, George Bush was running the country for them 8 years. That's why he was only president for 4. Because George Bush daddy was his vice president. George Bush daddy was not his initial choice. See, George Bush daddy was once the head of the CIA. See, H.W. Bush, see, y'all don't know about it. H.W. Bush was the one selling cocaine, not Ronald Reagan. Man, H.W. Bush was moving metric tons. Niggas right here talking about, I got a key. Nigga, Herbert Walker Bush had metric tons of cocaine. He was the one selling dope during the Iran-Contra. He was the one got JFK knocked off. He was a part of that.
That's real dope.
That's a real dope boy. I mean, he was. So, see, the reason why I mention this here is, and I'm going to give y'all a little history lesson and move on. Before you had the Central Intelligence Agency, you had the Office of Strategic Services. That's what the CIA was. See, Dwight Eisenhower, who was president before Kennedy, was once a general during World War II. He didn't care for the OSS, but George Bush was a part of the OSS, and then it got changed to the CIA. JFK wanted to get rid of the CIA. He didn't want spies and nefarious works being done. When he did that and decided that he wanted to go against the Federal Reserve, that got him pinched. You got to go. And George Bush was a part of that. So I was telling you about this the other day. Albert Dulles. I don't know who that is. There's an airport named for him in D.C. Dulles Airport in D.C. Albert Dulles, or Alfred Dulles. He was a part of the CIA. They actually appointed him over the Warren Commission, which is the commission that was about the assassination of JFK, because JFK fired Dulles. So they took somebody who actually had a problem. So that's why we were talking about MK Ultra, and in that video I put in there, the dude had wrote a book, because it had already been stated that Charles Manson was a CIA officer and that he was under that program. Because Jack Ruby, the dude who killed Lee Harvey Oswald on national television, the dude who allegedly killed JFK, Jack Ruby, killed this man on national television, live. They taken him from the jailhouse and transported him to somewhere else. And Jack Rubenstein, because that was his name, walked up, shot him in the stomach on live TV, and he died. Lee Harvey Oswald was an ex-Marine. He's what you call a patsy, somebody who they set up to put the homicide on. You know what I'm saying? But they would say allegedly that Jack Ruby was a part of MK Ultra. But I'm mentioning all that because Ronald Reagan was bucking. So a dude shot Ronald Reagan. And you know, the dude, I forget the name of the dude who shot him, but he was a psych patient. Y'all don't be noticed that people who do these shootings and all this stuff, they always be psych patients? Because they be under the program. Huh? Let's say what? Yeah. I'm telling you now. See, because now, because we were talking about this other night, and I didn't know that, but before MK Ultra, they had something called Operation Midnight Climax, and I was unfamiliar with Midnight Climax, and that's because they were giving Johns LSD and watching them through a two-way mirror trick with prostitutes to see what would happen while they were on LSD for their mind control program. That's what they made ecstasy for. Ecstasy was a mind control drug. Ecstasy been around since the late 60s. But niggas get on it in 2000. I'm on that Molly, stupid bastard. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you talking about the picture for the Pirates? He pitched a no-hitter on LSD. The black dude who pitched for the Pirates, that man said he pitched a no-hitter on LSD. That's crazy. I went to middle school with a white boy that was on LSD. I went to Landon. Landon, a 3-story school. He up there talking about, I think I can fly, and got on the top of the banister. I said, well, shoot, go ahead. I'm like 11, 12 years old, finna die. No, it was a white boy. I said, well, he finna die. I mean, what am I gonna tell him? He was gone. Hey man, you know, hey man, white boys get on drugs early. I'm talking about strong drugs. See, we get on drugs early, but it just be weed, cigarettes, and beer. See, you sticking your grandma cigarette, pitching your daddy weed, your mama weed, stick a little sip of beer, she got a little miniature of wild turkey, you want to test it out. I got helmet test, bro. Let me find out I've been drinking that cognac. Then white boy, 13, 14 years old, boy, that nigga smoke. Oh, you know what I'm talking about? I was in high school with white boys smoking rocks. Nigga, they in the bathroom like, nigga smoking crack in here. Nigga, we only 15. Where did you get crack from? Hold on, I pulled a name up for you, man. This was in like the 70s. I watched the whole documentary about Buddy one time. Buddy was high as a bird on that LSD. Hold on. Picture who pitched on? Nope. I'm gonna tell you right now. There you go. There his name is. That's what it was. Doc Ellis. Doc Ellis. That's his name. He died in 2008. He pitched a no-hitter on LSD. Shoot, that nigga Lawrence Taylor used to play football games on crack.
I can imagine that. Who? Want to who you say?
No, I don't think he was high during those games.
During the games?
No, because yeah. Shoot, some of them crack is all the same. Shoot. Hey, one thing for certain. Absolutely, it's the same. And let me tell you something, right? You get an egg, I don't care if you boil it, fry it, scramble it, it's still an egg. Cocaine is cocaine. I said an egg. No matter what you do to an egg, it's still an egg. Because guess what? You freebasing anytime you put, I had a smoker when we was in Justina. And a lot of them dudes used to smoke booms. And she was like, y'all can't call me a baser. She said, boss can call me a baser because he only smoked weed. He said, y'all put fire to cocaine, by definition, you a baser. She would get on them dudes if they call her a baser because y'all out here smoking booze. She was like, you can't. She said, boss can call me a baser because he don't smoke cocaine. Them boys out there smoking rats. Come on, man. Shoot, that's how Richard Pryor burned his face up. He was freebasing.
That's what I was. That's all I was.
It's a different high. No, he was basing
Lines and bass. That's what I said.
It's all the same. No, he was doing both. No, he was doing both. But the thing is to know the difference. The difference is the difference with snorting coke. On the drink champ interview, he said like the cracker tried to that nigga described it as an assassination. His words.
I can say I can see the difference.
No, with crack, your high is short. You know what I'm saying? With cocaine, you may be high for an hour. With crack, you're gonna be high for about 10 to 20 minutes.
Go ahead.
Come on, man. Let's finish this out. Romans 9 and 5. But not seriously though, but to get back to my point with Trump, is that you know that everybody say the Simpsons show stuff before it happened. Now that's what you call predictive programming. Why do they do predictive programming? Because they want to be like Yahuwah. They don't have no prophecies. They can't tell you what's gonna happen before it happens. Remember in Isaiah 48, he said, I told you what would happen before it happened because I knew that your neck was iron sinew and you were obstinate. So you wouldn't say your gods did it. So when I did it, you would know that I'm Yahuwah. Yahushua told you the same thing. I tell you things before they come to pass, so you know that I am he. But see, the adversary, he don't have no prophecy. But he tries to write a script of what's going to happen. So he tried, that's what predictive programming is for. So when you see Trump get killed because it was on The Simpsons, then you'll be like, The Simpsons predicted it again. They showed you 9/11. They showed you the coronavirus because they already be planning this stuff out and make it seem like that's their version of prophecy. Yes, an episode of Trump running for president, becoming president, and being assassinated. That's why you'll see people post memes. The Simpsons ain't never been wrong. We can't wait for him to see. Niggas so stupid. People, period. People so stupid that you think Trump bad and you've never seen evil before. Obama was probably 100 times more evil than Trump.
Talk about the president.
You know, he wasn't smooth with it. He wasn't masculine. He's a butler. So he ain't, see, Trump is a man. He's a patriarch. You understand? Trump like this here. I don't care how you niggas feel. This is what I'm finna do, ho. Well, guess what? Be mad, ho. This is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That offense. See, Obama would do the same thing, but he's, you know, I'm stately. You know what I'm saying? I carry myself like a professional. You know, got the whole time this boy around here sucking penis in the White House. You can't tell that boy apart. Look at his lips.
A lot of allegations.
It is. Well, we know he smoked crack because his lips were too black. Ain't no nigga who, ain't no nigga who, ain't no poor nigga who lips that black. I smoked cigarettes for 15 years. My lips ain't never got that black. You know what I'm saying? That's just black. That's black. No, he ain't. Yeah, I smoked a lot of reefer too. That nigga was smoking rocks. That hit him with burning the lips. I'm telling you. You know that nigga smoke rocks. Shoot, allegedly his homosexual love say spit crack. But you can tell a nigga who smoke crack. Look at it. Look at it. Nigga on some dope now. He ain't smoking no weed. Oh, Barry Soto. That's that nigga name. Barry. Little Barry. Let me leave little Barry alone before they come knocking on the door. I call you a faggot. They claim me in them Pizzagate documents that he like to have young boys delivered to the White House allegedly. Who knows? Y'all know. Verse 5, Romans 9. Definitely. I told you, George Bush got caught with him. Shoot, why would Obama be any different? That black man, that's why. You know what I'm saying? They got mad with Trump. The Trump said grab him by the coochie. That's how every man walking the planet feels. They grab him by the coochie. Not random women. I mean, if you's a pimp, that's how you feel. Well, guess what though? Guess what though? But guess what though? When you rich and powerful, y'all women will let that go down because you know that's a come up. They don't care how ugly he is, how old he is. He a billionaire. He can grab me by the coochie. Ain't gonna say nothing. And y'all know it ain't no lie, because he got status. He got status. That's a come up. Will you let young Tyrone grab you by the coochie if he ain't got no money? Absolutely not. Because you take the women that's in front of Donald Trump in front of him because they like it. Come on, man. Ain't none of them women in Flavor Flav wasn't on TV and had some money would have been in Flavor Flav's face. Talking about, I want to be your man. Be my man. I love you. I wasn't fooling with Flavor Flav. That nigga ugly. You know what I'm talking about? And he was smoking crack. Come on, man. Romans 9 and 5. But I'm just saying, but he's just a man. That's what we were talking about earlier. When you a man, you direct and you harsh. I'm gonna make a decision. I'm gonna roll with it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care about your feelings. Most people want you to cater to their feelings. When you a man, you don't cater to feelings. That's offensive. See, Obama would cater to feelings and then kill 1,000 kids in Pakistan the next day, and you wouldn't care because he makes you feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Obama passed some of the most draconian laws in the history of the United States of America and killed more children than probably the last 4 or 5 presidents before him combined. There are no stories out here about Trump doing drone strikes on little kids or doing none of that stuff. You go, Obama was killing children every day. Every day. Every day. But you didn't care because he made you feel. This is not an endorsement of either one of these men. It's just the point that they were diametrically opposed. People don't like Trump, and Trump say, you know what? I want these niggas to stay out my house. I'm going to build a fence. You offended. He's racist. When he looking at, I don't want you people coming over here messing up what I got going on. Oh, don't go to China. They got it. They're literally, I just found this out yesterday. Y'all remember MERS, the virus MERS that was before all this type of stuff? It literally means the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. They literally got a disease called Spanish flu and got mad with this man because he said it was the Chinese flu. That just shows you the hypocrisy of people. You just don't like masculinity. You don't like what he represents. No, I don't think too many of them have a say. They just a CEO. They just a caretaker. They do what they told. And when they don't do what they told, they get killed. Ain't many presidents who've been killed. Like I said, Reagan got shot. McKinley got killed. Abraham Lincoln got killed. JFK got killed. And I believe Chester Garfield died in office. He did. He wasn't even president for a year. And I believe they killed him as well. You know what I'm saying? This was in like the 1880s with Chester Garfield. You know what I'm saying? But McKinley got killed in 1901. Got him out of here. He didn't follow the rules. Get you out of here. Yeah, Lincoln got killed because he wanted to use real money. And he served his purpose. Sure. They got him out of here. You can't mess with the bankers. They'll get you out of here. You know what I'm saying? They'll get you out of here. Because you a threat to their system. And they're not with it. Romans 9:5. He said, whose are the fathers, and of whom is concerning the flesh Mashiach came, who is over all, Elohim, blessed forever. Amen. So this is what this man has a problem with. See, this is what I'm telling you, right? He doesn't have a problem because you're an Israelite. That doesn't bother him. But that covenant offends him. Back to Daniel. Hey, y'all get somewhere and sit down. Get somewhere and sit down. Back to Daniel 11. 11 and 29. 11 and 29. Now, when it say exploits, it's the word asa, or the word for work. So he's going to do work. He's going to do evil works. Let's continue. And this is Daniel 11 and 29. And then at the time appointed, he shall return and come towards the south, but it shall be as the former or as the last. Hey, cut it out. Cut it out. Sit down. Cut it out. For the ships of Shittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return. And listen what it says. And have indignation against the Kadash covenant. So how shall he do? He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the Kadash covenant. So now not only is his heart against it, but now he has indignation. Listen, the word for indignation is za'am, zayin, ayin, and meen. It is to hate, to denounce, to be indignant, to be defiant, and to show anger. You have zayin, ayin, and meen. Proceed. This is the indignation he has against the covenant of Yahuwah. Zayin, ayin, and meen. You could look at it that way. Indignation. He's defiant, he denounces, he is angry, and abhors the covenant of Yahuwah. See, I would look at it as in that regard is that I would take nourish, and I would take chaos, and that you will be able to know or behold the nourishing of chaos, because that's what he's trying to seek to do, only because of the intelligence that he'll take with those who forsake, because he's gonna teach them. He just walked them through like it was nothing. Just a little boy crying. Nothing to see here. Because what is the beast going to be nourishing during that time if he's teaching rebellion? He's going to be nourishing chaos. and he wants you to know that he's nourishing chaos. He wants you to know it. That's why he's taming intelligence with people. Remember what he said, right? We talked about this other day, the great falling away. And people think the great falling away is just people walking away from the faith and somebody teaching you to rebel. It's somebody teaching you to hear the ruach of error, to hear enticing words. Like we read about Jezebel, to allure you or to entice you to do something that you should not. What did he tell you in Proverbs chapter 1? If sinners entice you, what do you just sit down now. And sinners are going to entice you. Let's continue. Okay, so Ron got on there to bring a sword to those who know the covenant. And you can look at that as well. That is accurate. He definitely going to bring a weapon to those who know it. You know what I'm saying? In regards to saying covenant, meaning ruach, because he has an indignation for it. Verse 31, and his arm shall stand out on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and they shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that make desolate. Now again, on daily sacrifice, you have tamed, or to stretch or continuity. Now before that, you have take away, which is sore, or you're going to depart continually. So what it says is that he's going to pollute the sanctuary of strength, which is in Revelation 11, that he would build a temple, and in that temple profess that he's Elohim, and then he's going to continually have people depart. And how is he going to have them continually depart? Because remember, because daily sacrifice does not translate to that. It translates to continual rebellion. So he's going to continually have people do that, and then you'll see, then shall the place of the abomination that make desolate. And you know what Yahushua told you when you see that, right? Hit it. So now we know full well that abomination of desolation is referring to when this man stand up and say he God. Because that would be a continual rebellion. Not that they're going to rebuild a temple and be sacrificing goats in it. And he say, and as such as, listen what it says, and this is how the verse behind that confirms it. He say, and as such as do wickedly against the covenant, shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their Elohim shall be strong and do exploit. Everything in John 7, he say he know him. Let's look at flatteries. This brings further stuff to your remembrance. Flatteries is fine promises, smoothness, flattery. You have Kot, you have Lamar, you have Kuf, you have Hay. But notice he say he coming with nice, smooth promises. Well, what you think the beast's gonna be promising you? Same thing that the Satan promised Eve in the garden. You shall what? You shall not surely die. Yeah, I know the scriptures say if you take this mark, you'll be cut off from Yahuwah, but you shall not surely die. For you know in that day, you'll be as a God if you take this mark, because I am God. So therefore, if you take this mark, then you would be a son of God, because I am God. And you're going to forget that he's just a man. Because look what it said, right? It said behind that, right? That he would understand, those that do wickedly against the covenant, he's going to give promises to. Then he said that, but they that know their Elohim will be strong and do exploits. Exploits is work. It's asah. You're going to do the work of Elohim. That goes back to he is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love. Matter of fact, 1 Corinthians 15 and 57. Make it 54. Make it 52. Silence. You ninny. 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised, incorruptible, and we shall be changed. This corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where's your sting? O grave, where's your victory? The sting of death is sin. The strength of sin is Torah. But thanks be to Elohim, which give us victory through our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be you steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. See, this again comes back to being bold as a lion. When you bold as a lion and you have confidence in Yahuwah and that the word and worship is in you and you separated by it, and of course you know your Elohim and you would do work. You wouldn't be offended. I was reading this here with Monte before y'all came in here. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Nehemiah chapter 6. That isn't that getting aggressive like that? I'm around here trying to tell somebody what to do. You ain't nobody grandma for real. Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 1.
Nehemiah
6 and 1.
But upside down.
But man, you ain't using the pot yet, son. Clearly. Okay, sit down, Abigail. Nehemiah 6 and 1. Now it came to pass when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arabian and the rest of our enemies heard that I had builded the wall and that there was no breach left therein, though at that time I had not set up the doors upon the gates. Now think about that for a moment. First things first is, of course, you know, build is banal. He said he builded the wall, but there was no breach. The word again is breach is peretz, pay, rosh, and sod. You know that the way of the highest is the word, or Yahushua. This is what closes up that breach. So you look at the wall is being built, and there's no breach left. The wall is the law and the prophet, because he said the door of the gates had not been made. Yahushua is the door. That hasn't been made yet. Listen what he tells you. That Sanballat and Geshem said unto me, saying, come, let us meet together in some one of the villages in the plain of Ono, but they thought to do me mischief. Let's look at mischief. Mischief is simply rock. They sought to do him evil. Sought to do something bad. Remember what he tell you in Proverbs chapter 6, that he finds an abomination? Feet that are swift to run into mischief. Feet that are swift to run to do evil. That's why he say, rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. He said, I sent messengers unto them, saying, I am doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and come down unto you? Now look at this here and just let this resonate in your heart and in your mind. He said, I'm doing a great work. The word for great here is malaka, which is your occupation, your work, your business. What did Yahushua tell them when he was a young man? In Luke chapter 2, what he told him when he was a young man? When his parents couldn't find him and they found him in the temple when they were looking for him. Yeah, he said, I must be about my Father's business. Should I depart from this great work to come over here and deal with what you're dealing with? Now look at this also. He said, why should the work cease? The word cease here is Shabbat. Why should the work stop? Why should I rest from my labor? Now notice, you're supposed to, according to Hebrews chapter 4, what labor are you supposed to cease from? Your own labor. See, that's what I'm going back to the point when I mentioned in regards of you trying to do your own thing outside what your husband is doing. You're trying to do your own work. You're not doing the works of your husband. He says, cease from your own works and do the works of Elohim. Told you the same thing in Psalm 78. He said, why should I leave this work and come down to you? Well, you have to look at something. When you called to serve Yahushua HaMashiach, you're taking off to do a great work. So why would you cease and desist from that work to come down to people who only mean to do you evil? That makes no sense. Let's continue. Then he said, yet they sent unto me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them after the same manner. See, I went up on Brent about this yesterday. Because he kept talking about he want a dog. I say, nigga, I don't like dogs. I don't like animals at all. They utterly abhor me. Feed this nigga. I gotta take him to the vet. I gotta take this nigga to the doctor. I gotta feed this nigga. I gotta exercise this nigga and clean up after him. I can have kids for that. But then he trying to tell me about extolling me on the benefits of having a dog. And one thing about me, if I done told you I ain't on that, don't try to persuade me. I said what I said. I meant what I said. I take it as disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Nigga be like, this, bro, you want to snort this coke? Nigga, I don't snort coke, nigga. I wouldn't care how many times you ask me. If I told you no, I'm going to tell you no 1,000 times. And it probably get more aggressively each time that I have to keep telling you no. Because I ain't going to change my mind. You know what I'm saying? Once that I made my mind up, that's what it is. I ain't doing it. I don't care. You can whine, you can cry, you can backflip, you can do tricks. Nigga, I said no. Notice what he said, right? They came to him 4 times, and he said he answered them every time in the same fashion. Why should I leave this great work to come down to you? Why should I stop doing what Yahuwah sent me to do to come fool with you? That's how your mindset got to be. I'm going to read it again. Yet they said unto me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them after the same manner. That's boldness as a lie. You see his confidence in Yahuwah? Not 1 time, not 2 times, not 3 times, but 4 times. And I'm still going to do what Yahuwah told me. Then Sanballat, his servant, sent his servant unto me in the like manner the 5th time, with an open letter in his hand, where it was written and reported among the heathen, and Gashmu said, that you and the Yahudim think to rebel, for which cause you build the wall, and that you be their king according to these words. And you've also appointed prophets to keep you at Jerusalem, saying, there's a king in Yehudah, and now it shall be reported to the king according to these words. Come now, therefore, and let us take counsel together. Same thing they sent to Herod, talking about Yahushua say he a king. We ain't got but one king but Caesar. Ain't that what them niggas said? You going around Jerusalem talking about there's a king. You done sent up prophets. Wicked bastard. Look what he said. Then sent I unto him, saying, there's no such thing done as you say, but you feigned them out of your own heart. For they all made us afraid, saying their hands shall be weakened from the work, that it be not done. Now therefore, O Elohim, strengthen my hands. And what did Yahushua do when he was feeling weak? He went and prayed, Elohim, son of Malachim, and he strengthened his hands. Because that's all sinners are seeking and trying to do, is to make you weak through the work. Don't go do the work. See, I'm gonna go tell them people. Same way that nigga was like, you gotta listen to the government. You can't have no Sabbath. Nigga, screw them people. See, I'm not gonna be weak to do what I'm supposed to do because you scared. That's your problem. You understand? You have to sit back and look at it. If you scared, that's your problem. That goes back to what we read last night of Deuteronomy 20. What did he instruct you to do if somebody was faint-hearted? Send them home. Send them home. I don't want no scared nigga around me. What is that going to do? 2 Timothy 1:7. Come here, Abigail. Come here, Abigail. Gail. Huh? Why would I have flashes? Yes. Say absorb toxins and improves elimination. Well, I drink it because it tastes good. I drink it because they paid me for it. I don't know about those hard. Take a good food. 2 Timothy, excuse me, chapter 1, verse 8. I need y'all to sit down and stop moving around over here. Thank you. Abigail. Bye-bye. Yeah, 1 and 3 if you will. Lizzie. Bye-bye. Lizzie. Bye-bye. Lizzie. Bye-bye. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 3. I thank Elohim whom I serve from my forefathers with pure conscience, that without ceasing I have remembrance of you in my prayers night and day, greatly desiring to see you, being mindful of your tears, that I may be filled with joy. When I call to remembrance the unpaid faith that is in you, which dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I'm persuaded that in you also. Wherefore I put you in remembrance that you stir up the gift of Elohim which is in you by the putting on of my hands. For Elohim have not given us the ruach of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Be you not therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me the prisoner of his prisoner, but be you partake of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of Elohim. That's one thing for certain. He ain't gave you that. See, perfect love casts out fear. That means, remember what we sat back and look at. He said you were made perfect in his comeliness, or you were entire and complete in his esteem. When it say perfect in his comeliness is hadar, or the honor. So when you perfect in his honor, you perfect in the faith, fear would not be able to exist. You can't say you love and trust Yahuwah and then be fearful. That's not gonna work. You're not bold as a lion. That means you don't have confident people don't have fear. Even on the natural side, confident people don't have fear. What I'm talking, you know why a lot of people don't do stuff on the natural side? Because you fear failing. You don't, and it ain't even necessarily the aspect of failure. You fear starting over, or you fear what people gonna say. Confident people don't have fear because the things that they do are not dictated by what other people think or say. They don't care. They ain't gonna be like, oh, it took that nigga 10 years to get where he was at. Well, shoot, nigga, you spent 10 years talking about the work that I was doing to get where I was at. So who's the worst? The nigga who ridiculing somebody for doing something, or the nigga who's sitting there actually doing it? So why do you care? You know, failure is just a part of the process of doing anything outside of the word. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fail. Who cares? Why do you care? The fear come in because you're not bold. You know what I'm saying? You make boldness because you have confidence. When you tip, that's why women are attracted to men of that nature, because they're confident. Women don't want to deal with no timid man. They view that as weak. When they view you as weak, they won't respect you. You know what I'm saying? Then you get sized. That's why a lot of women choose weak men, because they know I can size them. That's why you stay in my house, nigga. I bought your box. Why would you want to deal with a dude that you would have to talk to like that? I bought your drawers. Is he your man or is he your son? Is you on some Semiramis type stuff that you want a husband / son? Y'all know that's what that was with Semiramis. You ain't know that? What you confused about? No, what I'm talking about is you have a lot of women who choose men who they buy things for, who they take care of. He lives in their house. She buy his clothes. She buy his drawers. And then she able to turn around and say, I bought them shoes, nigga, take them off. You can get out my, but see what that is he your man or is he your son? And if you want a man like that, you really on some Addison Civil type time. You on some Semiramis Tammuz type time. Or Nimrod, you a mother who married her son. That's what you own. You want to be the mother goddess, and you want your son to castrate himself like Addis did. So you can rule over him. That's why women are so quick to say, look at my son, he's so fine. That's my man, and all that type of stuff. See, that's goddess worship on the low. She don't know it, though. She don't know it. Well, you know why women do that? Because she ain't going to have no man. So that's why she elevates her son to that position. Because nobody wants you. Because you're masculine, and you don't listen, and you don't follow, and you're stupid. And you want to control and lead and dictate. So now you ain't got no man. So now you got to make your son your man. Because he the only one going to put up with you. Until he get grown, and then he going to be disgusted. If he don't take on the full simp programming. Don't you realize that women who do that raise their sons to be the direct opposite of the men they're attracted to? She raised him to be a simp, but she hates simps. See, that's what they do. That's why the little boy be messed up in the head. Or why these niggas around here with pants tighter than yours. You know what I'm saying? He got blonde streaks all in his head. getting highlights and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Around here, and y'all, I done seen some videos of these young men out here, boy, just sad. The type of gay games them boys be playing. You know what I'm saying? All type of stuff. You know, and that's failure as men. Because you know why it's a failure as a man? Because you shouldn't have put your seed in that no good dirty hole. That's what you should have done. You shouldn't have procreated with it. You'd have done it. Well, I need to go back to John chapter 7, John chapter 8. John chapter 8, verse 48. Then answered the Yahudim and said unto him, Satan, we not well that you are a Samaritan and have a devil? Yahushua answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Abba, and you do dishonor me. And I seek not my own esteem. There's one that seek and judge. Truly, truly, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. Then said the Yahudim unto him, now we know that you have a devil. Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and you say, if a man keep my saying, he shall never taste death. Are you greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead? Whom make you yourself? Yahushua answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Abba that honor me, of whom you say that he is your Elohim. Now that takes us back to what we looked at in Ezekiel 16, because it was Yahuwah that honored Yahshua. It's Yahuwah that honored Yahushua. If you understand that, then that's how you can be able to humble yourself, because you will understand where your honor comes from. That's why he said, how can you believe that seek honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? This is how a husband can honor his woman, because she submits and yields to his will. That's what it says in Proverbs 31 about a virtuous woman. He said he speaks of her in the gates. He lays honor at her feet because of her conduct. Because of her conduct. The woman in Proverbs 31 whole mission is to fulfill what her husband has going on. You know what I'm saying? That's her whole mission. And in the midst of that, she has latitude to make certain moves. You know why she has latitude to make certain moves? Because he said that he already trusted her. So she don't got to hit him up and say, oh, baby, can I buy this land? Because you know you're going to buy this land because that's congruent with the mission. So you don't need to holler at me because I trust you. I know you're not going to do me evil. I know you're not going to take from me. I know you're going to do exactly according to the pattern that I have given you. Like he told Moses when he built the tabernacle, what he said, take it to the exact pattern that I showed you in the mount. I can trust that you're going to do it exactly to the pattern that I showed you. You ain't going to go, well, I thought this was a good idea, so I did this. But is this what I told you to do? But I thought, see, I didn't ask you to think. Nobody pays you to think. You get paid to follow directions. That goes for men as well. Who didn't tell you to think? He don't pay you to think. He pay you to follow directions. That's how you get your hire. That's how you get Issachar, by following directions. When you don't follow directions, how do you expect to get paid? Y'all think y'all can go in your job and do different than what you've been instructed to do and think you're going to have a job? Well, how can a husband be a husband and do different than what who instructed you to do and think you're going to have a job? How can you be a wife and think you're going to have a job and you do opposite of what you've been instructed to do? How are you going to be a son of Elohim and do opposite of what you've been instructed to do? That's not how that works.
Hey. Yeah.
You heard her. You got your panties out. Abigail, fix your clothes. Boy, hush. Ain't no wrong with that, boy. Let me continue. Verse 55, you have not known him, but I know him. If I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. But I know him and I keep the same. Remember, the Hebrew word for know is yada. So you got Yah, Dalit, and I think it might be Ayin or Aleph. Let me check. And it's Ayin. So what do you know? You know or you behold the work of sacrifice. This is what you know. When you know Yahuwah, see, I put you this way, I told y'all this before, right? If somebody know you, then somebody couldn't come and slander you and say that you did certain things you wouldn't believe. Because that's not consistent with their character. See, consistency is because consistency shows you who somebody is. If you do certain things over a long period of time, that is who they are. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's who they are. That's why you take your time. See, people in this society, you don't take your time, and then you jump up and say, well, they changed. No, they didn't change. You didn't know them to begin with. And now you're paying for that. You know what I'm saying? See, Yahusha told, what did he tell his apostles? He said, show us the Father and it'll be sufficient. He said, Thomas, as long as I've been Philip, as long as I've been with you and you have not known me, they were with him for 3+ years. You know what I'm saying? You don't know this man after 3 years? He said, if you don't believe me for my words, he said, believe me for my word's sake. How much more I got to show you? Did he walk around and tell them people, I'm the son of God, I'm this, I'm that? No, he didn't even tell them that. He was showing them that. So by the time he told them that, then they should have already known, because you know that in John 16, they said, okay, you done showed us plainly, we believe you come from Elohim. But you can do that when you have confidence. See, if you don't have confidence in your God, and you can't really stand up and say you know him and stand on certain things. Somebody who don't know their God, that's why they say, well, the government said we can't have no religious services during the pandemic. I don't care what they said. You know what I'm saying? I know my God. I know what he told me to do. But what if you get it? My homeboy in Georgia say, you remember the pastor that died in Virginia? Center problem. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Because all the people who they point to who are part of religious organizations, they all sinners. They say the nigga who called himself the comforter, they say he died from coronavirus. Jermaine Grant, you know who that is, though? Tazadaki. You know that nigga actually had an action figure made of himself and sued the company that made it because they said he was too white. This nigga said he was the comforter in John 14. The nigga got convicted of embezzlement from the congregation for over $2-3 million. Say he buying Bentleys and Rolls Royces. Tazadaki out of here. 44 years old. Guess what dude said? That's the judgment of Yahuwah. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Either way it go, he gonna stand before Yahuwah sooner rather than later. You understand? But the point of that matter is, people die when, you know, Yahuwah coming to see you regardless. He coming to see you regardless. So you just might as well just do the work and stand on the work. Tazadaki didn't know Yahuwah, because if he knew Yahuwah, he wouldn't be doing what he was doing. See, we be all caught on somebody knowing that we Israelites and telling people that versus do they know Yahuwah. Because if one dude, that dude Rakah, how he know Yahuwah, he's sleeping with the women in the congregation who are married. How you know Yahuwah and you doing that? How you know Yahuwah stealing money? How you know Yahuwah canceling Passover? Nobody don't cancel Passover. How can you cancel Passover? It's not even yours to cancel. Let's continue. He said, your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. Then said the Yahudim unto him, you are not yet 50 years old. Have you seen Abraham? Yahushua said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. You know how confident you have to be in your God to look them people in the face and tell them you God? Because they knew exactly what it said, because they said they were finna stone him. Back to John 7, so we can wrap this up for today. Wrong chapter, huh? John 7:29. He said, but I know him and I am from him, and he has sent me. Remember what we read in 1 John 4? He said, little children, you are of Elohim, you overcome them. When you know you are Elohim, you have a different level of boldness and confidence than someone who does not. Then they sought to take him, but no man laid hands on him because his hour was not yet come. Many of the people believed on him and said, when Mashiach come, will he do more miracles than these which this man have done? The Pharisees heard that the people murmured such things concerning him, and the Pharisees and the chief priests sent officers to take him. Now listen, right? They heard the people saying, hey, boy, ain't nobody coming to do what he did. So they said, the Pharisees heard that, and in their jealousy, they sought to take it. And let's look at what the Lord said in the midst of that. Yahushua said unto them, yet a little while I am with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. You shall seek me and shall not find me, because where I am, you cannot come. Now, where is he going? He's going to the tabernacle in heaven. You can't come there. What will happen to you if you go into the tabernacle of heaven? What will happen to you if you go in the tabernacle of heaven? What will happen? You will die. You can't go where he's going, because the tabernacle of heaven is getting brought to you. You ain't going there. But let's continue. Then said the Yahudim among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? See, a lot of people look at that question. See, he didn't come for the like I said, and that's not what he was talking about. He was telling him, I'm going to die, resurrect from the dead, go back to heaven where I came from, and y'all can't go. And they didn't understand what he was saying, so that's what they thought he was talking about. He said, and it says that, what manner of saying is this? And he said, you shall seek me and shall not find me. And where I am, you cannot come. And you know what the sad part is? It's 2020, and all these brutes still don't know what he's talking about. Because you know why? Because they don't know where he came from, and they don't know where he's going, because they ain't going. In the last day of that great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believed on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. But this spake he of the Ruach, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Ruach HaKadosh was not yet given, because that Yahushua was not yet esteemed. Many of the people, therefore, when they heard this saying, said of a truth, this is the prophet. They heard that confidence right there. They say, he got to be. But see, that altar is, see, that's a different level of confidence that the average person don't have. Because it's not levels per se. It's that the average person don't trust in you. You have people who are confident naturally, but they're not confident in you. We're ending the Zechariah 4 and 6, what I mentioned earlier. Don't it get stuck then. Now you got to live here. Now they're going to call you chairboy. Chairman of the board. Your head already big, so you can't be sticking in small places. I pick it up at 4 and 1. Can't go nowhere, boy. Maybe you'll learn to sit your butt still. Zechariah 4 and 1. And the angel talked with me and came again and walked with me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep. He said unto me, what see you? And I said, I've looked, behold, a candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and its 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and the 2 olive trees by it, and upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. And I answered and spake to the angel, and he talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? And the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, know you not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of Yahuwah unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my Ruach, saith Yahuwah of hosts. What reason why we looking at? Because your boldness, or your boldness in Ecclesiastes 8 and 1, which will cause your face to change, which is strength in Ecclesiastes 8:1. Same way it tell you in John chapter 1 that you don't become a son of Elohim by blood, nor by flesh. So ain't no bloodline, ain't no nationality, ain't no will of man, but by Elohim. It's outside of your power. The power and confidence that come to become a son of Elohim and to be bold comes from your submission. You're submitting to his will and you're humbling yourself under the mighty hand of Elohim, and he will exalt you, as you see Yahushua say out of his mouth. As you see that you'll be made perfect in comeliness because he put his honor on you. But you are willing, we'll pick this up next week. So hallelujah, Yahushua and the word. I appreciate everybody coming. Bless y'all in the house of Yah in the name of Yahushua. But again, being bold as a lion is just really being filled with the word. Being filled with the worship or the bowing down or the humility. You're not never going to be bold until you trust and submit. When you do that, you'll have strength of which you would not be able to understand. But again, blessings out of the house. Y'all name of Yahushua. I love you. Appreciate your time. And who are willing, we'll pick it up next week. And until that time. Yeah.